Okay, what's going on, everyone? My name's Ty. I'm the Ankylosing Spondylitis guy. I really quickly want to talk about what I've been successful with this condition because I know so many of you guys struggle out there. The main point I want to take home today is exercise. Exercise is fucking everything. It's just so crucial in my life. This is all just my experience, but I want to get really quickly into the nuts and bolts of why exercising helps, why it's confusing with this condition, and more or less how to overcome it. So, the most confusing part about exercising with this condition is that, A, if you've never exercised before, you don't understand how pain works with exercising. Okay, so let's quickly go over that. If you've never exercised before, you're going to have a shitty time for the first couple of months. No fucking doubt. It's going to be awful. Truly. Like it's just I've taken breaks for 6 months before, and every single time going back, it is rough. Your muscles aren't firing off properly. Your nervous system kind of forgets what it's doing. If you have weaker muscles, they're gonna be sore no matter what. Honestly, like it's really tough. If you get past that 2, maybe 3 months, depending on where your exercise skill level's at, you will start feeling phenomenal. Like, and that's honest to God truth. That's why people get hooked on it, is because it feels so bloody good once you get into it. It's just really trying to bite off that first few months is it's really tough, and it's no joke. And having chronic pain on top of that adds that extra element of stress to it. I had like 3 years where I didn't work out much or well. I basically left the lower half of my body completely out of the picture. I noticed that my pain, my flare ups, everything got worse. It got way worse. My flare ups were happening consistently. My pain was getting worse all the time. I didn't know what the fuck to do. It was awful. So that was 3 years of doing jack. So then I transitioned into I'm going to start trying to exercise, and I'm going to start trying to get some control back in my life. So what I did was I specifically started to work out the parts of my body that hurt. And honestly, that's just mainly my ass. Truthfully, it's my legs and my ass. So I started with body squats, and that was something that it was hard, it was painful, and I felt very wobbly and unstable the whole time. And that's in largely to do to atrophied muscles. That's to do with my nervous system not firing off very well. There's a bunch of reasons why, but and it took me a long time to get comfortable with doing that. I transitioned from body weight squats to weighted squats. When I did that, it was very uncomfortable to make that transition. So I started with low weights, came back down to body weight, back and forth all the time, slowly increasing how much I could do with the weights. This is the thing that I think people don't like to hear, is that like this took me 2 years. Okay, so like in my experience, don't expect anything to happen fast with this condition. But it's kind of like, don't expect anything to happen fast with your body in general as you're transforming it, really. It took me 2 years to get to a point where I was comfortably doing weighted squats, right? Like, and that, I'm not saying that I still didn't get some pain, but I did notice that my pain went away drastically, like way, way more. Not only did I physically get a lot less pain, but my mental health started to get way better because I was just feeling good, feeling energized all the time. My body was starting to look better. I was becoming more capable physically. My pain was getting reduced. It was just like literally nothing but positives. I still wasn't in a place that I wanted to be, though. And I honestly, who the fuck doesn't want to just be fully functional? And like that overall has been my goal. Having that longer term plan, moving from weighted squats, I moved to elliptical. So I moved to the elliptical machine, and I kind of went back and forth from weighted squats and started introducing 3 days a week of elliptical, maybe 2 days a week of elliptical. It went really low stress at first, but then I kept trying to up it more and more. So I do like casually low level stuff, and then I went higher and higher and higher resistance to the point where I got like I would sprint as hard as I possibly could on and off. Like I did high intensity interval training or HIIT training. It really helped my muscles get more and more adapted to more like higher rep, higher stress situations. Building on top of weighted squats and then going to cardio on the elliptical machine, This is like how I was really getting to the meat and bones of regaining some control over my lower half of my body. From the elliptical machine, I think I took this was like 4 years, probably, maybe slightly more than that. I started to do the same thing again near the tail end with elliptical machine and treadmill. I did this for probably 2 years, honestly. So it was like 4 strong years on the elliptical and then another couple years on the treadmill. And so I would go back and forth, same way as body squats and weighted squats. I'd go back and forth on the elliptical and the treadmill. And I would do it a bunch of times. And I noticed that the treadmill would kind of knock me down. It would give me more sciatica, but I would pick it back up and I would start doing it again. And lo and behold, I started getting more and more used to it. And then I did it again for like another probably 2 year period where I went from the treadmill to running on trail parks. I would do it on a field. I would run on roads, and it was the same thing again of just like hit the treadmill hard, adapt slowly to running on roads and trails and just regular surfaces. And I just want to make this really clear. Like this was my goal when I was like 20, I'd say 22 to 24. I started really setting these goals up. And now, after 8 to 10 years, I've done it. I don't know if everything makes sense in that timeline. I'm just blabbering on, but you get my point. It's that longer term goals are so important. Like that, and that is how you get through it. Is it's not just today. It's not just this week. It's not just this month. It's like, how can we continually build a foundation that's strong enough to try something that pushes us slightly more. So like you can't do anything without a very solid foundation and where you can take a little bit of risks, right? Like that's what it is. And the risk factor is doing something that's more uncomfortable, more painful, and you need to be able to go back down to your very strong foundation and reset when you go back to that higher risk, higher challenging thing. If you guys have any questions or comments, just feel free to DM me. Feel free to just leave comments below in the subreddit. Do whatever. I just legitimately want to help a lot. That's it. All right. See you guys.